Hi, Democrats. Today is Tuesday, April 2nd, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Live. Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, April 2nd. In 68 of Oklahoma's 77 counties, there is an election happening. In 68 of 77 counties, there is something to vote for. So if you're sitting around thinking, I wonder if mine was included, chances are the answer is yes. It is 4:18, meaning you have 2 hours, 42 minutes to get out there and cast your ballot. Please vote. I don't even know how to say it a different way. Please vote. We have to vote every time our precinct is open. And so what's being voted on right now all over the state? We have some school board stuff. We have some city council, some municipal elections, and a couple of ballot measures that are on the ballot in 68 out of 77 counties today. I just saw a post from one of our super volunteers, one of our super Democrats, Jenna Harkins, posted 30 minutes ago at 3:45. She was number 12 at her precinct, number 12 to have voted all day at her precinct. Oh my goodness. Get out and vote. Now, I will say, you see me, I do not have on my I voted sticker. That's because I voted early in person on Friday because I wanted to make sure to get it in. I voted early in person on Friday. I got my absentee ballot and didn't have a chance to mail it in because I've been sick. So I didn't mail it in, but I voted early in person on Friday to make sure that my vote counted because I have a school board election that was on my ballot this time. It was the only thing, but school board matters, particularly in a state where our superintendent of public instruction is trying to tear down our public school system. Got to vote for all of the things, no matter how small they seem to you at the time, no matter if you think they matter to you or not. The moment that you don't vote on it and you're watching the news and you find out that somebody's in some elected office is doing something you hate, you'll remember that they got there because you didn't vote. Vote, vote, vote. City council races all over the state, ballot measures. There's just all kinds of things on the ballot. 2 hours, 40 minutes. If you aren't sure if you have something to vote for, I'm going to tell you right now, stop watching me. Go out to the Oklahoma State Election Board voter portal, type in your name and your birthday and see if you have something to vote for. You got a little bit of time to do a little bit of research, make a couple of phone calls, ask some questions, and decide who and what to vote for. But please, please cast your vote. If you're wondering how we are gerrymandered the way that we are, wondering how our districts are written so that there's very little competition, it's because not enough people participate in our electoral process. You got to vote to up your numbers. So if you haven't voted and you think that your county might be one of those municipalities that has an election, stop watching me. Log off. Go do your research and go vote. You have 2 hours. 39 minutes. Go vote. All righty. So that's my big plea. I am only here to make sure that people show up and vote. I provide you little tidbits so you know kind of what we're thinking about things, but I am here to make sure that people vote every time their precinct is open. So on election day, I'm just going to hammer it home. Vote, 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 vote. All righty. Let me give you some reasons of why you should vote. Oklahoma ranks number 42 in poorest states in the nation, or maybe we're number 42 richest state in the nation. I think that's more how it goes. We're down here. We're down here in the bottom 10 of richest states in the nation. And that's from the Bureau of Economic Analysis. And it's based on income, including government benefits, proprietary income, interest rates, the types of jobs we have. That is what we're rated. And so we're down in the bottom 10 of richest states in the nation. Bottom 10. That's where we are. We are not a business-friendly state. We are not a welcoming state. And it's because, largely, in my opinion, it's largely because of our politics, right? We will give all kinds of tax incentives and credits to businesses coming in. But when they look at it, they think, oh, shoot, I don't know if this is a good place for me to bring my family, because their education system is kind of jacked up because their superintendent of public instruction doesn't understand what his job is. Oh, shoot, I don't know if I need to come here because it's not a welcoming state to people who may not fall in the mainstream. There are all of these things that contribute. It's not just about money, that we have to pay attention to, which is why I talk about it so much. I talk about how hospitable Oklahoma is because I live here and because I think that politics directly reflects it. We are not a good place for folks of childbearing age, whether they want to have children or not have children. We got laws for either side. We are not a good place for people who are not male specifically, because we're number 51 for outcomes for women. We're some in the top 5 for maternal mortality rates. There are all these things, and a lot of these things can be preventable if our legislators would get out of people's bedrooms, if our legislators would focus on the things that improve our state, if our legislators would remember that they were elected to represent the entire state and not just a select extreme view. So that's why I talk about politics so much. That's why I talk about reproductive rights. That's why I talk about LGBTQ issues, why I talk about DEI. Those have all somehow become political issues, but that are making Oklahoma not as hospitable as we know it can be. Now, on a good note, and this is a bill put forth by a Republican, so you know that I'm fair and I'm just looking at how we take care of Oklahoma. Oklahoma still has a lot of restrictive covenants on the books about redlining, which means that banks can decide not to lend in certain neighborhoods. Some restrictive covenants that can talk about what religious preference is or is not allowed to live in a neighborhood, what race is or is not allowed to live in a certain neighborhood or community. Some of that crap is still on the books. Now, it's not being enforced, but it's still on the books. We need to get all that stuff cleared out so that no one can drum one up and say that it's legal for me to exclude this kind of person. It's legal for me to not loan in this particular neighborhood. And thankfully, Senator Christian Thompson has put forth Bill SB 1617 to kind of bring us into the 2020s with regards to our covenants. So bad news that crap is still on the books, but good news that Senator Thompson is trying to address it now. Superintendent of Public Instruction, Ryan Walters. I said it. Y'all know how much how exhausted I am about talking about him, because I do not want our politics to be focused on a person. I do not want our politics to be focused on opposing one person. However, this one person keeps doing stuff. He keeps doing stuff that is noteworthy. And so he has set up the Office of School Choice in the Oklahoma State Department of Education. Now, let's be clear. His title is the Superintendent of Public Instruction. That's the office he ran for. That is the office he won. He is the Superintendent of Public Instruction. He's now set up an Office of School Choice. It sounds nice and it sounds pretty, but what we all know is that school choice is about vouchers. School choice is about private school. School choice is about charters. All of that stuff falls outside of the purview of public school, outside of the purview of public instruction. He keeps reminding us of what is important to him. He keeps reminding us of what his priorities are. It's to bully and intimidate school districts that don't agree with him. It's to pretend like there's porn in schools so that he can get people all riled up. And it's to figure out how to funnel public tax dollars to private schools. And you know why I think that these are his priorities? Because that's what he's setting up an office for. That's what he talks about the most. He talks about that more than he talks about improving our schools. which is the job that he was hired to do. So I mentioned him because, once again, it's about politics. He was elected to that position. He is an elected official who, by my estimation, needs to be impeached. But he is an elected official. And when we don't vote, when enough of us don't vote, when we decide that we want to protest a vote, or we don't know enough, or we don't have time, this is what happens. We had a equally qualified candidate who, how do I say this? She's minding her business, so I will focus on him. We had an equally qualified candidate. This guy had already shown us that he couldn't manage details by his mishandling of class wallet. Our candidate, classroom teacher. Our candidate, former teacher of the year. Our candidate traveled the state and talked to folks both in rural and urban settings. We had a qualified candidate that we could have chosen, but not enough of us showed up. We have to show up. That's why it's important, and that's why I started today by reminding you today is an election day. You have 2.5 hours. If you haven't voted, get out and vote. If you're still watching me, I'm going to remind you that running for office is how we elect more Democrats. So it's not just voting. There's some stuff that happens before voting. We have to actually get folks to say yes to run for office so we have somebody to vote for. Filing for state house, state legislator, and a lot of other races starts tomorrow at the state capitol. Starts tomorrow. In municipal offices, they can turn them in at their county elections, but state house, state senator filing starts tomorrow. It runs through Friday, April 3rd, 4th, and 5th at the Capitol all day. Bring your completed packets, your cashier's checks, come file, run for office. And then I need you, those of you who think you can't run for office and aren't going to run for office, to be paying attention so you know who you're going to support, because we got to support them out the gate. We don't need to wait and let the dust settle, because the dust may settle and they may feel like they don't have enough support and they may drop out. Filing starts tomorrow. Support a candidate. If somebody's calling you at the last minute saying, I think I've decided that I'm going to run, I just need $100 more, give them as much as you can. Give them as much as you can. If you give them $5, that's the next call. They can say, I only need $95. Give them as much as you can. They're going to need money to file. Help them. If you are a person who can help somebody with the full amount, help them with the full amount. If you're somebody who wants to donate, but you don't know what candidate, donate to the party and we'll make sure that it gets to a candidate. We have to run as many candidates as we possibly can, so we can elect as many Democrats as we possibly can. Filing starts tomorrow and runs through Friday. And then after Friday, this Saturday in Ardmore, Oklahoma, is our presidential preferential primary convention in Ardmore, where we select our delegates who are going to represent us at the DNC in Chicago in August. Busy week. Today, election day. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, filing to run for office. Saturday, convention to run to represent Oklahoma at the DNC. It's a busy week. I'm hoping you participate in some way, whether it's donating to a candidate or being a candidate, whether it's running for a DNC convention or coming and voting for those folks. There is a way to participate. So if you're sitting at home thinking, I'm really frustrated that Donald Trump is being Donald Trump. I'm really frustrated that Ryan Walters is doing what he's doing. I'm really frustrated that our small but mighty representation at in Oklahoma City at the Capitol is having to fight harder than they need to. There are ways that you can help. Run for office. Help those who run for office. Get involved with the party. Help those that run for office. Run to represent us at the DNC, all kinds of ways. If you haven't voted, still have 2 hours, 28 minutes. Get out and vote, and I will be back here tomorrow at 4:15. You guys have a great night.